Page 4, the Toymaker's Dance. The key word there is dance. Keep that in mind. 4/4 time. You got quarter notes and eighth notes. I see some dotted rhythms. We can have fun with that, I'm sure. So let's take it one hand at a time. Make sure. Those sharps or flats are all white keys. And the right hand, I'm starting out here. Puts me in that position. It's called C position. Okay. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. The second line, there's a note above the whole line because the dashed line goes across the whole line. Both hands 8VA. That means both hands are going to go up an octave. So during the here, you just lift up and move to this C position. There's no rest or anything, but you'd lift up anyway. So just when you lift up, move. So you're ending the first line here. Just lift up. You may have to practice that because it's a different finger. Up there, and then at the top of page 5, when the right hand comes in, there's no 8VA anymore, because the 8VA is only good as long as that dashed line across the top of the stabs goes, and it ends at the end of that line where it is. So we're down here, 1 and 2 and 3, a dotted rhythm. Well, remember, the note comes on beat 1 in this case, the dot comes on beat 2, because a quarter note gets a count. So the dot comes on beat 2. So that means the eighth note has to come on the and of 2. 1 and 2 and. 1 and 2 and. Otherwise, it's a long short. 1 and 2. I tend to feel them. I go 1, 2, and I know there's eighth notes. I feel the eighth notes in between them. 1, 2, 3. Second line, C and an E, then a D and a, connect these if you can, and then. So, the next line is the same as what we had on page 4, and then in the last line, the last couple measures, there's an 8VA, but this is right hand only here, because it doesn't say both hands, so it's right hand. And so you simply move up, they say G position. I say put your thumb on G. You're in here and you got lots of rests. So somewhere during those rests, I usually do it right before, but come up and put your thumb on G. Just be ready to go for the last 2 notes. Left hand, we're starting down here on C. It's G, C position 2 now. It says 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Isn't this exciting? Oh boy. Third measure. 1, 2. It's a D. 4, 1. And then in the second line, remember it was both hands. So now you got to come up here. You just lift up and move. 2, 3, 4. And then at the end of the third line, you're ending here. And at the top of page 5, there's no 8VA. So now you just lift up and move it. You're just going from C to position. So it's here. And 2 and 3. Same dotted rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3. So forth. That takes you all the way down to the bottom. And the last line, the notes are where they are, but you have an 8VA under it, and a dashed line goes across the whole line. So remember, when the 8VA is above the staff, you go up, and when the 8VA is below the staff, you go down. Well, this 8VA is below, so the left hand, only the left hand, well, the right hand has rest, doesn't matter. Left hand simply goes down here. So you're ending the third line here, just lift up and move. And you play the notes down here. Rest. So forth. Then put the hands together. This should be interesting because you're moving around on both hands. Starting out in C position. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. 1, 2. Hold that half note down. 1, 2, 3. But you got rest in the left hand. 4, and then lift up and move. You're just coming. You may have to practice that. Both hands are the same. It's easier if you can move one hand at a time, but sometimes, like here, you can't. So just practice going from here. In fact, you can go both directions because later on you got to go back. So you're here and here. And then at the end of that line, you're here. And then the right hand doesn't play anything. Leave the right hand where it is. Just move the left hand. Now, sometime when you're playing these notes, move the right hand down so it's ready to go. And you're not playing the same notes here. Second line, page 5. Then third line you've had before. The last line, well, you're ending the third line here. The right hand has rest, so just leave the right hand where it is. Move the left hand down here. So you can it's easier if you can move one hand at a time, is what I'm saying. So get the left hand down and while it's playing, then move the right hand up. Rest. Like so. That's what I recommend. You may have to practice the hand moves because you can't hesitate. The beat has to be steady. Then we can add the articulation. And the nice light short staccatos at the wrist here. Accent is a little louder. Both hands are accented here. And then you come up here, same articulation as before. Over top page 5. You accent, staccato. No accent here. Accent. It's the left hand gets the accent, not the right. Because that's the melody. No accent, both hands. And then you're back to what you were doing before. Last line, still staccatos. Rest. So you're then staccatos here, but connect the left hand. And then an accent on the last note. And don't hang on to the last note, it's just a quarter note. And once you have an idea of that, then we can go back and put in the dynamics. Well, it's loud at the beginning, and remember the dynamic applies to the melody, wherever that is, because it's moving around between the hands. Wherever it is, that's the dynamic. So loud, you decide what loud is. Keep the rest under that, out of the way. It's background. Accent makes it very loud. Now it's soft, it's like an echo of that. That means the left hand has to be very soft. Accent, that accent's going to take it up to about a moderately soft, just up a little bit. Remember, the accent is in relation to the level, the volume that you're at. So you just go up a little bit from where you're at. Top of page 5, you go up to moderately loud. Not loud, just sort of loud. The accent makes it loud for that one note. There's no accent there. Accent. You can play both hands the same here. Now the second line, again, it's the left hand gets the melody, so the moderately loud applies to the left hand. And you have an arrow to go up to loud. Well, there's not a lot of difference between medium loud and loud. So I suggest for the first measure of the second line, just stay where you're at, don't go anywhere. The next line, or next measure, just go up just a little bit. And the third measure, now you're loud. So I'm like increasing it a measure at a time. A little louder. Now. You stay loud there until the last line when it's soft. You're down here. It's hard to play soft when you get down low on a keyboard. It's easier to play loud. It's easier to play soft when you're up high. So you have to be careful here. You may have to exaggerate this soft, just make it soft. Now the last little bit, it's loud. And at both hands. And the last note is accented, that makes it very loud. Then maybe we can start thinking about the tempo or the speed. It says allegro, that's fast. Well, again, it's a range. It's what is fast to you. It's the overall flow of the piece that's fast, not the beat. So what do you think of fast? I mean, it's a happy little song. It's that just kind of goes along. It's a dance. What would you do if you were dancing along and doing that? Maybe that's too fast. That's fine. If that's your fast, that's close enough. I would, it's a personal thing. Keep in mind that the word dance, that's what's important here. You see that the type of music kind of tells you things about how to play it. And dances are generally played at one steady tempo. If people are dancing to them, you can't be speeding up and slowing down. They have to be at one steady tempo. So keep that in mind, or the dancers fall all over themselves. They don't like you anymore. So keep it, whatever it is, it's got to be a tempo that you can handle at a steady rate. I would like to play this with you very slowly to double check the notes and the rhythms. I'm not going to do the dynamics, but I will do the staccatos and accents and things. So I'll give us 4 counts, and let's just play it together very slowly. 1, 2, ready, and go, and. 4 and 2 and 2 and 2 3 and 4 and 2 and 2 and 2 4 and 4 and rest 2, 3, 4.